The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour. Doesn't matter where you're at, as long as you're here at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So we've got some questions about what's going on in the market. Right now we're up 10 on the S&P. Dow's down 129. NASDAQ's up 113. Not much of a bounce off of yesterday's lows. I suspect going into Fridays, we're probably looking at a down Friday. If today on fairly light volume, 6.2 billion shares, so about a 1.8 billion shares lighter than at this time. So the question is, what's different now? Is anything different? And I think the answer is yes. And, one of the things that Tom O'Brien said early on when I was trying to learn to trade, but probably said it around 2000, so I hadn't been trading for a couple of years yet. But he said, you got to go through a few of these cycles. Well, we don't get the same kind of cycles all the time. But I think a lot about what happened in the markets around the bank blow-up of 2007, 2008, 9 here in the United States. And there was a lot of disbelief before Lehman went belly up. The interesting thing I see right now that could put the last blade of straw on the camel's back is Evergrande. The reason why up to this point everybody's kind of looked around looking for a hole in the dirt to put the big toe, anything to distract themselves from the real problem. But guess what? The Germans are going after the Chinese. They're going to go into their courts. And everything from the Chinese side, if you're looking at it, is probably bad. Let's say that they offer pennies on the dollar, which probably will happen. In an update today, I said that should be out. I don't know if it is. I sent it off about 15 minutes ago. Should be out. Hopefully everybody's gotten it. I didn't get anything quite yet. But what do we have on this? Well, if you're the Germans, kind of feel like the lamb with two wolves asking what's for dinner. You got to go to their courts. You got to get them. I said a long time ago, there's absolutely no way I'd be in any of this stuff. People laughed at me. If you're just selling, if you're just day trading this stuff, it's fine. If you're buying puts and calls, that's fine. If you're putting on money into equities, you just never know when the alligator is going to bite down. And we're going to probably be looking at that as they file their paperwork today or tomorrow from the Germans, who are way out on the limb on this. I don't know what the problem is here in the United States, but I would assume there's a lot of stupid people on Wall Street. They act very smart. They talk very well. But guess what? It's not when it's the end of the day, it's not their money. Wasn't their money in 2007 or 8? It's not your money now, or not their money now. It ain't ever going to be their money. To go to Las Vegas and just bet on black every time, losing other people's money. But something that could easily be seen, if a dummy like me can see it, literally anybody can. So the first option the Chinese just decide to screw them. What does that make the rest of equities in China worth? Probably next to nothing. Probably what they're worth anyway. Let's say they give them 50 cents on the dollar. What does that tell you? Well, maybe what you get here in the United States, probably not as bad. Still going to lose an absolute ton of money, probably twice as much money as was lost in the 2008 or 7 and 8 debacle here in housing. And remember, this is, if you're not familiar with Evergrande, no, it isn't the largest size of coffee at Starbucks. That's just a grande. But the Evergrande, of course, is all those ghost condos and housing facilities that were built over a number of years that remain empty. So I don't know what you can say about it. There's a couple of scenarios that I've put out. There's probably a couple more that I haven't thought of or thought through, but it's going to go from bad to worse, especially for the European banks. Starting to see other things going on in world events. Never thought a whole lot of the Prime Minister of Germany. A lot of these people are well-wishers. Reality's kind of hard. We made an offer with them a couple of years ago to build a bunch of ships and ship them all the natural gas they needed. And, of course, they said no. They decided to go with the Russians because they're so much more trustworthy. I don't know if she's that stupid or if she thought that it was a threat if they didn't go after it. But, of course, guess what? Yet again, threatening to shut them off in the middle of the winter. I don't know what goes on in little pea brains' heads when they deal with people like this. They aren't the good, wonderful Labrador Retriever that never bites anybody. They are the vicious junkyard dogs who are going to take everything that they can get from you and more when everything goes south. So whether or not you're dealing with the Russians or the Chinese, can they really just be that stupid? Are they getting paid off like, well, we know how many people have been paid off in the government, continue to get paid off. Who's buying all those paintings that go for more than Gauguin or all the rest? Who are these people paying everybody off? They're probably not doing it in the interest of the United States. Who are these people that are making sure that we don't have enough gas, that the people in Maine are going to have electrical bills 60% higher than last year? Saw that in the morning. But you get a few of these things together, you get kind of a big inflation number like we had. Eventually, this stuff does mount up, and it will be time to pay the fiddler. I think that this may be it, mostly just because this is where the rubber is going to hit the road when it hits the ports, and we shall see. Don't like the market at the moment and think we could sell off through Thanksgiving. We'll be back in a minute.
Are you grinding in the market, but seeing little to no return? Or are you a successful trader, simply looking to make your job a little easier? Learn to take the path of least resistance with David White's powerful trading newsletter. David White is an accomplished trader whose deep understanding of technology and the markets allows him to consistently find and share winning trades. Support and resistance define the ranges in which stocks trade. By understanding these trading ranges, David White is able to find the path of least resistance. David White's trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, is delivered daily before the markets open to make every trading day an easy win. Visit TFNN.com today and subscribe to David White's Ultimate Trading Newsletter for $119 a month and try all of our newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Take the path of least resistance at TFNN, educating investors.
What's separating you from the most successful men and women on Wall Street? That's right, information. Having all the information gives us the perspective we need to place the right trades at the right time. The TAS Profile Scanner is the premier market profile-based scanner. Powered by its acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner instantly filters over 2,500 plus global financial markets, such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. This powerful suite of tools leverages instant trade filtering and strategy formulation to show you emerging trades before they happen. For a limited time, you can save $100 off your first month by using the promo code UPGRADE, and you still get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Level the playing field with the TAS Profile Scanner, which you can find under the Services tab at TFNN.com. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Okay, we're back, and we're going to do a little history. Let's do that.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1973, Robert Metcalfe, David Boggs form an Ethernet network for the first time. From its humble beginnings as a research project at Xerox PARC, Ethernet was developed into the de facto standard for business and home networking, still in effect today. And of course, back then it was fairly expensive. Things got cheaper as time went on. But what can we learn from this? Well, it really was there was a lot of other stuff going on at the time. And I have to say, it was probably till the mid-90s until it was really the de facto standard. Everybody was using the miserable token and ring coax instead of the 10 base T or 100 base T. Well, 10 base T back then. But things got better. But guess what? Another example of just how long it takes some stuff to get to market and become a big deal. For them, it was a good 20, 25 years between that. Probably the other lesson out of this was that how many things Xerox had, from computers to mice to graphical user interfaces, everything. But because they couldn't pull the trigger on anything, they lost out on almost everything. And of course, Metcalfe and Boggs, I know Metcalfe for sure, formed 3Com, which was circa 1978, I think. That was kind of it. And of course, it took the PC revolution really to get it going. So it was another 10, 12 years for them to really build their business. But by 1990, they were the de facto standard in networking also. 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com. And, of course, you can always put a message in the den. Had a question yesterday that I don't think I got to. See if the gentleman is in the den. So we have him. He is not. So I will wait. Maybe he shows up later. And and we'll answer that question. Other things going on. Okay. Okay. Well, that's kind of it. What else is going on here? Let's pull up a chart. Oh, almost forgot it. Kind of forgot it yesterday. Not going to forget it today. But, of course, today is Veterans Day. Yesterday was the Marines' birthday.
All right, sweethearts, what are you waiting for? Breakfast in bed? Another glorious day in the Corps. Day in the Marine Corps is like a day on the farm. Every meal's a banquet. Every paycheck a fortune. Every formation a parade. I love the Corps.
Well, you can join the Corps. And certainly lots of people have. That's a nod, a tip of the hat, a nod of the head for all those folks that have. Anything else going on? Oh, I do play this every year on Veterans Day just because it is so moving. And then we'll get on to the charts.
Henry V was talking to his men. He said, from this day to the ending of the world, we in it shall be remembered. We lucky few, we band of brothers. For he who today sheds his blood with me shall be my brother.
That was from Band of Brothers. And, you know, even if you don't watch the series, you got to watch the behind-the-scenes footage with them at the very beginning and end of every episode. But wow. Anyway, we will move on to charts already. More about Qualcomm, as we said yesterday. The tech looks a little bit better than the rest of the market out here. Qualcomm did get right down to the 3x3 and bounced off of it today. I still suspect we're going to see, especially if we see problems, big problems in Little China. Oh, I like that movie. Trying to remember. Kim Cattrall and the Disney guy, which reminds me, I got to talk about Disney here. What's his name? Lived in Colorado, pilot. I'll think of his name. Played Snake Plissken in Escape from New York. I'll think of his name here in a minute. Maybe somebody in the den will bring it up. Anyway, Qualcomm looking fairly good. Support comes in at about 150, 250-ish. You know, there's a lot of these companies doing well. The problem is you never know when one thing breaks what the unintended consequences would if things really heat up in China over this. Kurt Russell, thank you. If things really heat up over this Evergrande thing, we haven't seen Zai outside the country in 2 years. Haven't seen him in 6 months. For all we know, he's not alive. He's one of those fake book avatars to this point. As the military slowly taking over the country, intent on invading Taiwan, all these companies could see 50, 75% losses in the invasion of Taiwan. So I'm more of a fan out here of playing this stuff, at least for the rest of the year, or until we at least see Xi or Z again. Probably use options. At least you've got your risk limited to part of it. You're not looking for an instant blow up. You never know. Is the chance slim? Yes. Is it none? No. And with the VIX being where it's at, for the most part, unless you get some kind of nutty stock, it's probably a better bet. Not if you're doing it for the next couple of days, but if you're buying options out 30 days or something, you probably have limited your risk, both to the upside or downside, depending on how this goes. So I would be much more looking at about that. Disney came out, dropped the chalupa, and right back into this huge gap. You did kind of have a three-gap play in this that did take a long time to kind of come back. I suspect you do come back to 135 and fill about half that gap that goes back to the basically a year ago, November 9th, 2020. It gapped up with 35 million shares. You're down today on 45 million shares. Could you find support here? You could. I don't think this is all going to happen in one time, but we'll go through what Disney had to say. The gap up on December 11th last year is on 87 million shares. So you're probably going to see support here for a while in Disney. We'll come back and talk about the downside of having an introductory price only to see it go up 3 times. We'll be back in a minute.
Are you having fun trading the markets but having trouble finding like-minded individuals to discuss your trading and investment ideas with? Become an apex predator in the trading markets and join the Tiger's Den Trading Room only at TFNN.com. The Tiger's Den is an exclusive trading room where successful traders from around the world come to exchange trades and ideas. Join the den and surround yourself with the sharpest minds in the trading world. Subscribers to the Tiger's Den are also the first to have their questions answered live on air and can privately chat with our TFNN hosts live during their shows. Interact with other Tigers and Tigresses as they share trading ideas, news analysis, and discuss the market action all trading day. Subscribe to the Tiger's Den risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee and become part of the TFNN trading community. TFNN, educating investors.
You could be making money off the stock market. And if you're already making money off the stock market, you could be making a lot more. Check out TFNN and Tiger TV and get expert investing advice to give you the power to control your financial future. Go to TFNN.com and find the newsletter for you. Whether you're into trading gold, metals, futures, currencies, or options, you'll get advice and analysis to help you seriously get ahead. TFNN also features trading services with a 30-day money-back guarantee for new subscribers, as well as TFNN's Tiger Den Trading Room, trading software, and educational webinars for all trading levels. And make sure you check out Tiger TV for free on TFNN.com or TFNN's YouTube channel for live financial content from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern on market days. Stop watching on the sidelines while other people get rich and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
As we return, talking about Disney, subscriber growth, not what it was. I think a lot of people signed up for Disney for a couple of reasons. Probably the biggest one was at the end of the pandemic was all the kids coming home and saying they needed to watch The Mandalorian, the Star Wars thing. It was the first decent thing from Star Wars for 20 years. It was an interesting series, certainly better than all the movies, although it was produced at a fraction of the cost. And, of course, even the second series is pretty good. Number one selling doll and toy for the last couple of Christmases. So fairly good. The downside is they haven't really had anything to replace it. There's been some other stuff that kind of looked like maybe it'd get some traction. And, of course, a lot of that was propaganda, self-serving. But since then, they really haven't had anything that really broke out. They've had some stuff that won some awards. But for the most part, now kind of interesting that we can see numbers from outside the company, because when you stream the local ISPs, they see where you're going and they know how many hours you're spending on different platforms. So I think there was a little bit of that. Now, on a chart basis, is it horrible? No. But my God, you probably didn't want something in the neighborhood of 50, 60, 70, 80 million shares on the end of that. I just don't see how this changes anytime soon. They're spending a lot. They didn't get the subscribers they needed. They still have problems with ESPN, with half the viewers that they needed or that they used to have. I think maybe even 40% from some places that I've looked. So their properties are not that good. They've done a lot to irritate some members of the U.S. community, and there isn't that much to go. Of course, they started a lot of people off at $4.95 a month. Now that it's gone up, people don't see a whole lot of new stuff on Disney compared to both Amazon and Netflix, and I think it was the first to go. Maybe season 3 comes back that isn't butchered by the folks who wanted to, take credit for it being really the first successful thing out of the Star Wars franchise in 20 years. But, or at least good. I don't know if it was successful. But pretty horrible stuff from the Star Wars franchise since it was sold to Disney. And, of course, they Disneyized it and ruined most of the good stuff out of it. But there's other stuff out there, too. They're busy running Raiders of the Lost Ark now and some of the other stuff. But that's Disney for you. They're going to water it down and make it kind of like the not the worst McDonald's you've ever been to, but certainly not the best. Yeah, you're going to like it. Yeah, you're going to forget about it 30 minutes later. Yeah, it's just trying to make and satisfy everybody kind of satisfies no one. And I think streaming, especially when you look at Netflix and Amazon, is about finding stuff that applies to a narrower, in FLX, a narrower range of folks. And, I don't think that the narrower range is really plotting. Netflix, on the other side, is up a little bit. This hasn't been the same kind of blowout higher. But I do suspect that this could come easily back down to the $600 mark if we do see a stress in the market from the Evergrande stuff. 877-927-6648. It seems like it's awful quiet out there today, but we'll see. Okay, other things going on. Okay. Another question about Snap. Has it bottomed? Take a look at it. Well, temporarily. I would say that your best idea on this is that everybody was shorting it, and you get a bounce to maybe 67, and you could get out of it. The downside is if the market, broad markets, decide to give it up. Is there a bigger problem here? What do we have? Got a little. 20% probably isn't a whole lot yesterday. Probably does set some kind of low. But if you're just hoping for a bounce, I'd say 65, 67. If the market decides to rally into Christmas, if it doesn't blow up on high fuel costs and Evergrande and a handful of other things that are all like juggling chainsaws, all you need is one slip And that's it. So, got that. Got a question from Joe about the TLT. And see, what do we have here? Okay. Yeah, you're just still on it. Not a whole lot of change here today. It looked a little bit better this morning, but I don't see much in the way of change here. Okay. Question on AMD. Nice bounce in AMD today. Again, this is one that never even broke the 3x3. You bounced right back up off of it, so it's still no signal on that. That's why I suspect the NASDAQ is a handful of days behind the S&Ps and the NYSE. I think a lot of these guys are looking at what goes forward, and if you need cash to expand in the near future, could AMD issue more shares and people buy them? I think they could. If you're forced to a bank, which you probably are in an S&P company, that becomes much more problematic. But if you're in the technology space, even DDD today is down. They're going to kind of, dilute their stock. They've got another offering out here. You got two nice gaps. I still wouldn't want to do anything with this. You got a little more volume than you did on the October 6th low, which is where you're at right now. You need less than 1.8 million shares. You already have 8.9 million shares. So a lot of these companies were in just big triangles, and this is one of them. Let's go ahead and draw this up because this is actually one that I kind of like. But it would be an issue of whether or not you can actually get the market to start going higher. But normally what you get is kind of a big triangle formation out here. And if you get about 3/4 of the way, which you have in this, you bust down through it. A lot of times that is really the buy. What you don't want to see is a lot of volume. You don't want to see this thing down here more than a day or two. I see no reason to buy it now. But breaking out to the wrong side about 80% of the time is the time that you should be buying something like this. I just think with the dilution, it's going to be hard.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Anyway, as we were talking at the end here, just talking about these triangle patterns, which are just, for the most part, lower highs, higher lows. And then you'll come back in, and if you draw some trend lines on it, you go pierce that. Generally, when it breaks out, the first one about 80% of the time is to the wrong side. It is a head fake. This time, though, I don't think you can get over all the new shares. And generally that tells you something, which is that they probably went to a bank and got turned down. And that's never a good sign in the short term. In the long term, maybe they've got something that's really cool. The banks just don't like lending money for a variety of reasons. But you know what? Keep an eye on that. If it does kind of pop back into this trading range, which would be 2650-ish, kind of maybe a close in a 27, generally that's a fairly good indication that the trend is up. It's very tough. And I think we're probably going to see a great deal more companies out here start to dilute their stock shares. Okay. Okay. Question on VNQ, which is the real estate index, just kind of hanging up here. Certainly any problems with banks could filter over here into the United States, the Evergrande thing. I don't see a lot going on here other than, if you just hang at the highs and there isn't a lot of volume, generally that's distribution. If you hang at the highs with a lot of volume, that's generally getting ready to break out. Even if you're going to break out and then give it all up the next day, the longer you hang out here, the more likely that you're going to at least pierce the highs temporarily. I don't see a reason to go after this particularly. I do think that if we were going to be headed lower, it's kind of a broad market thing. I didn't find a lot in individual stocks that made me want to take a short on any of those. Best Buy continues to move up. Today's volume a little lighter. This thing didn't even blink yesterday, which makes me think that a lot of people are more than happy thinking that these guys are going to make money on iPhones for Christmas. Volume's a little light, but literally no blink out here. Don't see what else they're going to be selling for Christmas other than iPhones. Apple on the weak side, but probably not all that horrible. When we look at options, which I had Ron ask me about, okay, Let me get that up because I need to get something different here. Okay. Because I ran these just before the show today. And let's see. You don't have that much out here in Apple. This is the price from last night. But the options are from today. I just didn't update the price in it. But Apple, not a lot of movement out here. But really, they're looking for something like 150 over the next week as the high, all the way down to probably 148. They don't see a whole lot higher in Apple, so my guess is it continues to kind of play around this 148 to 150 area. Probably chew up a lot of puts and calls in the process, but there just isn't a lot right now that says anything other than an overall market move is problematic. Going to check back in on IBM. Okay. And you need to retest the low, 116.73. I don't see any reason to get into that before this happens. And again, you're still 6 months, a year probably away from them selling anything. You know, if they start talking about actually receiving money for selling quantum computers, I think that's more interesting to me. NVIDIA, even though we had a fairly decent pullback yesterday, it was one that really couldn't break the 3x3 displaced moving average. The downside today is that you have fairly light volume. But these guys are probably more likely to make money on quantum computing with their quantum computing simulator than IBM does in the next year. But even some of these things which will run fairly slow, the actual operation of even simulating a quantum computer can be something that is, for certain problems, 100,000 times faster than classical computers in some operations. So if the problem's small enough, but could only be solved by a quantum computer, maybe NVIDIA starts to make some money on it. They did finish the third day of their dog and pony. So I don't know if there's a lot more. Maybe all the good news is in, but not kind of bad. AMD up a bit. Did we talk about that already? I think this is more on Intel kind of whiffing a little bit on their product rollout from last week. I mean, it was good, but they continue to kind of fumble the ball. They did recover, but it hadn't been good. Again, if the market starts heading lower, which I suspect it's going to, I think you want to be looking at Intel maybe on a retest of the 4754. I'm not as bearish as I was on Intel before, at least their first new chips. They do look like they're able to ship them along with the motherboards and a lot of the other stuff. And a lot of the new stuff is very interesting. But if the market decides to roll over here, I don't think anything's going to save any of them. MSOS. What's that? Pure Cannabis, huh? And you certainly had a huge move here on November 6th. You were up on 6.5 million shares. Coming up today with 2.7 million shares. I think a lot of people on this one just got caught out being short on these. MSOS. I need to put that on my list of stuff to start scanning for short sales. I don't have anything for that right now, but I'll add it right after the show. Not a bad bounce out here. You do have a gap up. These things just have been problematic. I'd still think that 29 is where you want to be in it if you're buying it now, and 29 and below is where you want to be out of it. So, pretty good risk reward actually if you can get it. We'll be back in a minute.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Are you looking for a secured investment which pays you on a monthly basis? The Tiger First Mortgage Program may be the program for you. The best rate on a 5-year CD in the country right now, according to Bankrate.com, is paying 1% per year or $1,000 per $100,000 invested. The Tiger First Mortgage Program pays 7% per year, paid monthly, on secured, high-value, buildable properties in St. Petersburg, Florida. The investment is for 4 years, paying 7% per year or $7,000 per $100,000 invested. Your investment is secured by high-value real estate in St. Petersburg, Florida. Your investment can be anywhere from $100,000 to $500,000. Do you want to make $1,000 per year on $100,000 invested or $7,000 per year on a secured Tiger First mortgage? The Tiger First Mortgage Program may be just the program for you. The Tiger First Mortgage Program pays 7% per year, paid monthly. For more information, you can call 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
As we get ready to end another day out here, S&P up 7.5 points, Dow down 130, NASDAQ up 99. Not expecting a whole lot. Gold up 17. Probably tells you more about what people are worrying about than anything else. And even with pressures on crude, 81.43, 81.41. So, what can you say? Gold's moving for a reason. We'll find that out. Generally, that leads for in a handful of days, but I suspect it may be that. Okay. I'll try to get that out. Anybody that does have a subscription to the Path of Least Resistance should go to the members page and read it. I do have an update out. I don't see where everybody's getting it. So we'll at least go ahead and check it. But that's kind of it. Oh, had one more thing I wanted to play, as I play every year on Veterans Day. That's Arlie Army. I did meet the guy. What can you say? He's just like he was in Full Metal Jacket.
I am Gunnery Sergeant Hartman, your senior drill instructor. From now on, you will speak only when spoken to. and the first and last words out of your filthy sewers will be, sir. Do you maggots understand that?
Sir, yes, sir.
Okay, Arlie Army. He died last year. Tough as they say always, tough as brass knuckles kind of guy. He was very interesting. But we're none of us getting out of here alive. Anyway, as we look at the end of the day, light volume bounce, not much happening going into a Friday. I suspect that at best we're going to have a bit of a pullback. The Evergrande thing looks like it's a little more than a bug on the windshield. Maybe some rocks out there being thrown. So keep an eye on that. But everything I see right now kind of looks like we're ready for a pullback here, probably to Thanksgiving. So when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you tomorrow.